Hey guys, good morning. It's Thursday morning here in anxiety-free executive land. This is Coach Mike Basevic. How are you? You know me. You're in my Facebook group. And maybe we'll send this video out to our subscribers as well. Because I want to really touch on some things that are important here. So if you're watching, say hello, and I'll be happy to say hello back. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. But I want to talk about a few things on this video that you might relate to, okay, about going through your life and how you're going through your life. And it really struck me this week as I was talking to some people and our clients, some amazing clients. So, you know, I'm going to give some shout outs here to our clients, and our clients are always happy to share their stories. It's amazing. We had somebody that did a breakthrough call with us yesterday about coming into our program, and they wanted to check some things out, and so I connected them with a couple of clients, or our team did, and our clients are so happy to share their story because they were struggling so bad before they came in to our program, and now the transformation they have and the life they're living, it's completely different. But people that do these breakthrough calls, many of them can't see it because they're so deep down in their stuff, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm gonna talk about, when you give me one day, I will change your life forever. Okay, and there's not too many people out there that are going to tell you that, but we do it, and that's why we have the social proof that we have, right? So all the testimonials. It's funny. There's like I think 100 something, 200 testimonials that people have shared their story on Facebook or videos or interviews with me, and people see all that, but they still think they're broken. They still live this life of unfulfillment, which I'm really going to get into quickly today. But first, let me talk about some success stories, man. I love to share these stories because these people were really struggling. So Gabby, who's a wonderful, wonderful guy from Texas, lives in Texas, and not from Texas, but lives in Texas. And he joined the program just about 2 months ago, and had extreme anxiety. And he was really, really deep down in an overwhelm. And hey, Tim, how are you, Dr. Scott? Good to see you, buddy. And he would come on our coaching calls. He was really working hard at this work, right? Because this is what life does to us, guys. You wake up at 40 years old, 45 years old, you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, you're afraid, and I'll talk about that in a minute. You're unfulfilled, you're depressed, you got some serious stuff going on, and it's affecting your life. And the best of us have experienced it, right? So the best people in the world, everybody's got something inside that's swirling around. I know what we present in fake Facebook land, right? Facebook land, and the wonderful family, the amazing things, and these, you know, every day is better than the next. It's all bullshit, guys. We all have stuff. We all have stuff swirling around. How do we know what's swirling around? The way we feel, the way we think, right? That's always an indicator. So when my guy Gabby came in, he was deep down in it, right? Successful, wonderful guy, but couldn't be the dad, couldn't be the husband that he wanted to be. And he would come on our group calls. So we do these group calls every week. We give coaching calls, we give recordings, but the group calls are really powerful. We did our weekly call yesterday, and he just couldn't get out of his own way, but he kept applying the work. We said, you know, it's a prescription. It's going to hit, and man, it hit. And we got on the phone yesterday for his week 8 call, and he is crushing it. He's crushing it at work. He's crushing it at home. His daughter and his wife asked him, like, who are you? You're a completely different person. He's got so much clarity. And he said something to me that inspired this video, right? He said, you know, I used to walk around slumped over. Hey, Bart, how are you, bud? I used to walk around slumped over and head down, and I just go from activity to activity, or home to work and work to home, and just go through life. And I was just, you know, just always, the mind was always running. I felt, you know, this nervousness, this tension, this fear. And he goes, now I'm walking down the street and my chin is up and my chest is high, my chest is out and my chin is up. And I just have this like inner peace and contentment and happiness and clarity. And I want to shake these people that are walking along the street that look just miserable. And I call it, you know, Wayne Dyer used the term the unreflecting herd, right? I don't think it was his, but he used it. somebody else said, hey, rules reflect, I don't know if it was whoever it was, but rules reflect the govern the unreflecting herd. And that's what it is. You look around, right? People are miserable. And Gabby's like, there's no other way to live your life than this way. And he goes, I can't believe that I wasted all this time and why I didn't know this stuff years ago. And but that's what happens, right? But it started with one day. I'll talk about that in a second. It took 8 weeks. It took 6 weeks to get him to where we wanted to. And now he's just keep growing and growing and growing. But it took him one day. And there's no reason to live in this misery. But guess what, guys? The world conditions us to be miserable, right from the get-go. And I talk about this a lot. Look at this environment, man. It's a shitstorm of negativity. It has been for thousands of years, right? We're not dropped off on this planet and everybody's like nice to each other and everybody wants to be. Like, people are kind, right? Everybody's got this kindness, right? You think back to 9/11. Humans, like Americans, were flocking to New York to help. And yet we live in this misery. We live in this ego place where we want to be combative. We want to be angry with each other. We want to lash out at people, right? And we live in that space. But that's the way we're conditioned. Look at now. I mean, look at the political landscape here in the U.S. Look at people fighting over shit that doesn't matter. Our courtrooms are filled with people arguing and fighting, and it's just this constant battle. And then you can't listen to people talk without them going right to the drama, right? Oh, it's nice today, but winter's coming, right? Oh, it's supposed to rain Friday, or that's just my luck. And they walk around with this cesspool of shit because that's the way they've been conditioned. They don't know any better. It's like anything else, man. Our mind is just this employee, this training, this condition, this plastic device that we mold and shape. And we're mold and shaped because people, what do? We go to school, we get graded. We go to college to have a career, but then we don't get, most people don't make a career. They get a job. And then they get bills, and now they're running in the rat race, right? They're not living their passion. They're conforming to society. They're following the rules. We're not born and made to flourish in most cases. The select few do, though. And I'll talk about that in a minute. We are taught to conform, to be practical, to be realistic, to be miserable, to don't set your sights too high because you'll just be disappointed. And then we're disappointed, right? And then we go through life and we fail in business. We get scared. We lose a relationship. We lose a loved one. And guys, that's normal. That's part of life. But now we're miserable. And we just spiral in misery. And then what do? We find other sheep to be miserable with. And we bitch and moan about the job that we wanted so bad. The boss is an asshole. The company sucks. They're taking away my benefits, right? And we just live in this cesspool of shit. And if that's okay for you, I feel sorry for you. Seriously, man. Because it's no way to live your life. You're not living your life. You're surviving. One day, and then the next day, and the next day. And oh, we got the glimpse of the weekend and a few beers or camping or whatever. That's not living your life, man. You're not making an impact, right? You're surviving. You're a hamster on a wheel. This day and the next day, and every once in a while something nice happens. That's not living, right? That's slowly dying, because that's the way we've been conditioned. And you've got to take action to get out of that, right? And you've got to make a decision. Everything we do in life starts with a decision, right? The relationship we're in, the job we take, the house we buy, the couch we buy, the refrigerator we buy, whatever. We decide, we do research, and we make a decision. And it's always preceded with passion, right? People value things, right? So I was talking to somebody the other day, and they want to buy a tombstone for their mom. Now the tombstone's average cost for tombstone, last I didn't have to buy one thing, but average cost for they're like $3 to $10 grand, right? They're expensive. And I don't think the person that the tombstone's for really gives a rat's ass that they have a tombstone, right? Because the only people that really care are the people that love them. But I think whatever they've moved on, right? They probably are still connected to this. But anyway, that's another video. But they value that. I'm like, okay. But then take make an investment in yourself. Oh, I don't know. That's, I don't know if I can do that, because you don't value yourself. You know why? Because you've been taught not to value yourself. You could survive this way because you're doing it now. You're living in misery. So you're used to that. You're one of the guys, right? But do what Gabby's doing. Lift that chin up, put that chest out, and live your life with purpose and passion and excitement and happiness every day. Now you're the elite. Now you're not the normal. The normal, you walk in to a breakfast restaurant, look around, right? Most people, they don't look happy and healthy and thriving, but you're that person that walks in the room and you're connected, and you're happy and you're excited and you're passionate. You're a rarity, right? But you can have it, okay? But you've got to decide first. It's got to be important to you. Or you can live in the unfulfilling relationship with the job that just makes you miserable every day, and you could sock away your 10, 15, 20,000 a year for retirement, the finish line, right, that everybody thinks they're on. It's not. This is the way you live your life now. If you're fine with living your life in misery and one of the sheep, then that's your choice. But if you give me one day, okay, I could change your life. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about Wayne. So Wayne came in the program. I don't remember when he did his breakthrough call with our team, but he came in and he did the work, man. He was going through a tough breakup, and he was devastated, right? He was 3 months out of the breakup, but devastated. Anxiety crept in, unfulfilled at work, and doing well, though he was comfortable, but and he was so scared to join this program, because you've got to make an investment in your time, and you got to make a small investment in money. He was so scared. In fact, he did it. And then he reached out to our performance specialist. He goes, I don't know if this is the right decision. He goes, just let Coach Mike and the team do what they do best. So flash forward 2 months. So Wayne went from complete misery, not sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night, every night, maybe 4, fatigued all day, mind never stops racing, all that stuff, and completely missing the ex, right? The girl that the relationship ended. Flash forward 2 months, 7 weeks, 7 weeks, 7 weeks. It all started with one day, though, right? Hey, Megan, good morning. Speaking of rock stars, hey, Brandon, how are you, bud? Another rock star. And you see who checks in here, guys? All the clients that have been through the program. Now, there's so many other people here. There's thousands of people that are watching this video. They don't check in much, right? Back, withdrawn, right? The people that check in, those are the people that are living life on purpose. So anyway, so flash forward now with Wayne, and he's crushing it. He is absolutely crushing it. He is sleeping like a baby every night. It's just complete turnaround. Off the prescription drugs that he was on. That's his decision, not ours. We always tell people, you'll know when to get off them. You'll be off them. And sleeping like a baby. He no longer is pining for the ex. In fact, he is now getting messages from her. And I told him that would probably happen. When he gets rid of his stuff, I said, you're gonna be ripe for new relationships. Don't be surprised if old relationships come and start knocking on your door. You're gonna be sleeping like a baby. Your entire reality is going to change. You're still gonna be in it. Your job's probably still gonna be in it. Your family's still gonna be in it, but you're gonna have a different relationship. Your entire reality is going to be changed. And I know these people that are watching here that said hello, they can relate. So now, guess what? The ex is texting him. I think we made a mistake. I miss you. And he's not sure what he's going to do. That's going to be Wayne's decision, because he's in a whole different place now. And I said, hey, Wayne, too, don't be surprised if your finances get even better, because that's what happens. And sure enough, out of the blue, about a week and a half ago, knock on Wayne's office door, he got promoted with a $10,000 raise. Out of the blue. And it's going to lead to another promotion. He's loving life. 7 weeks later, right? Let's talk about Tiffany. Tiffany's a rock star, man. Another one going through a breakup. Couldn't sleep at night. Mind constantly racing. Pit in the stomach. And then just total overwhelm in her life. No idea what to do. But what did she do? She jumped in. She gave us one day. Made a decision together. And jumped in. And she listened to the recordings. She did her coaching call. She does her coaching call. She's still in the process. She's only in week 6. And she just does the work every day, every day, every day. She communicates with us on Boxer, right? That's what we use. And she does everything we tell her and applies what we're teaching her. Her entire outlook is changing. Her entire life is changing. She is flying through her days now. And I'm telling you, Tiff was down in the dumps. She was uncertain. She was afraid. She was anxious. She wasn't sleeping. And now she's crushing. She was like, I didn't realize, like, this is the old Tiff, but way better, right? And now she's going to be primed for the next relationship, the next level in her business. She's got tremendous clarity, happiness, and she's just getting started. She's only in week 6. So guys, it all starts with one day. What's the one day? You've got to take action. Okay, you've got to make a decision. So I don't want to talk about a breakthrough call I had yesterday, but you've got to make a decision to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm no longer going to accept this life. And when you get excited and inspired, maybe you see this video and something I said moved you, or something about some of the stories moved you, and you want to take action. And then 2 days later, when it comes time for your call, it's going to be like, well, I got to, feed the dogs, and I got to run the errand, and I've got to check in with my Facebook news feed, which is garbage. This is what you should check into, shit that can help you. But, and then you just don't do it. You know why? Because you're conditioned not to. You've been conditioned to be miserable. You've been conditioned to walk around unhappy with other people in your life that are unhappy too. And then they come in and connect with you, come into your office and complain and be miserable with you. Be somebody who lives with purpose. Make the decision one day. What is it one day? More appropriately, 1 hour. You make a decision. I'm going to take action. Okay, this guy seems sincere. He seems like he knows what he's doing. He's got the case studies, right, the clients, and there's something going on here. You can't have 150, 200 people, 250 people over the last few years since we started using platform of Facebook. We've many more beyond this years, but you can have all those people sharing their stories if it's not true. So we can get you there, but you've got to give me a day. You've got to schedule a call. You've got to make a decision, and then you've got to take action, or stay in your misery. Take chances. Keep rolling the dice and see if one day the roulette wheel, one day is going to be happy, next day is going to be sad, and live with the lack of fulfillment. And then when you're 75, 80 years old, you're going to look back and you'll find excuses like, well, but I did this and it's okay, right? And it's not okay. This is your life. You need to be a little selfish. You need to be selfish for the people counting on you, right? You've got somebody you committed to in your marriage. You've got kids you brought into this world, or even grandkids at this point, or maybe you've got friends that might be sucking you down that maybe you can lift up, or employees, or an employer that hired you, right, under the premise that you are who you say you are, right? Or you could just keep being miserable all day and keep dealing with the anxiety. You could be so Renee says, Renee Young, I will be one of your clients, but it's way out of my budget. Renee, I get that. And we work out things for people, right? So if we have to, we try to help people as much as possible. But when you make a decision, right? So I talked to somebody a couple of years ago. I remember this call, and they said they had they couldn't our program's the cost of a college course, right? So yeah, it's enough to get your attention, but if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. And to people, because they don't value themselves, the tombstone story, right? I'm going to get the tombstone for $7,000, but I'm not going to pay less for the program because I don't value myself, right? Think about that for a second. It's crazy. Or cars that we buy, or furniture that we buy. So what we value, we will find a way. So I was talking to somebody who had no money a couple years ago, and they were telling me about a DUI. And I said to them, well, did you get through the DUI? And he goes, oh yeah. And I said, but you had no money. And he goes, no, I had no money. I said, what'd you do? He goes, well, I found it. I found the money. I said, why? It's like 10, 12 grand. He goes, well, the alternative was to spend 10 months in jail. And I said, okay. He goes, I don't want to do that. He said, oh, you had a good motivator to find the money. And I said, 10, 12 grand, a lot more than what our program is, a lot more. And I said, but you had a motivator. You had a reason to find it. So you found it. I said, what did you do? He goes, I reached out to a relative and said they had to help me out. I said, oh, okay. So you made a decision. You knew that you couldn't not do it. And now you saved it. Well, all of the crap, all of the drama he had in his life led to the DUI. And I said, so you'll find a way if you want to do this program. Renee, You'll find a way if you want to do this program. If you need a car, you'll find a way to buy a car. You won't stop until you find it. You need a place to live, you'll find a way to get a place to live. You need help, you'll find it. So make it your personal mission, okay, to find a way, okay? And then, or you reach out to me and you say, listen, I need your help. Great, but you're gonna adhere to what we agree to, including the work we do. So guys, the excuses we use in life are just excuses to keep you where you're conditioned to be. They're all bullshit. But when you find a way, and if you honor money more than you honor your life, you're a fool. If you feel that you're a victim and you can't find a way out, figure out how to get back to work, figure out how to raise your income, figure out how to do it, and then do it. But you can find a way if you wanted to. So that's not an excuse. Your time is not an excuse, because the overwhelmed people, what do? They just keep scheduling stuff. So here's the point of this video, guys, is give me one day, make a decision, find a way, okay, and then do it. And your life will never be the same. Or you could just stay in the misery and hope things will change. You can sprinkle the fairy dust, the hope dust, and things are going to change next year. And New Year's Eve, you're going to set those intentions New Year's Day, and then you'll forget about them by January 12th, like 87% of the people that do. And so Renee, I'll check in, but Renee, I'll check in. If you emailed our team, I'll check into that. And so anyway, guys, you've got to take action. You've got to give me one day. If you give me one day, I'll change your life. It's going to be some work. We do a lot of work, but every single person I come in the program, I can tell you intimate deals about them because I work with them, and I promise them I'm going to get them to where we're going to go, and I do. Okay? And yeah, sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes when people first come to our program, they're dealing with a lot of stuff, but that's what they're used to, right? So we've got to get you out of that. There's a lot of work. If you give me one day and you make a decision, right, then we'll get you through it. And your life will never be the same. Like Gabby and like Megan, who's watching this, and Brandon and Bart, and Bart's still in it, man. It's Tim. Everything will be completely different. So you can have it. What's today, October 10th? You can have it totally different by December 1st. Everything in your life can look completely different. And then you get busy just being happy, being more productive, being more clear-minded, having new ideas, attracting better people in your life, better experiences, more money, all that stuff. But you can't get there if you're depressed and anxious and worried and in fear all day. You can't get there. The inner world's got to be connected to the goal, or else you'll never get it. All right, guys, so that's my soapbox for today. I'm going to end this video now. I love all of you, and guys, give me a day. Take action, and we'll change your life forever. Okay? Have a good day.